if you are building AI app with .NET, you have two options: Azure OpenAI or the regular OpenAI API. Most developers pick one without comparing them. Today, I am going to show you the real difference in price, in code, and in the features. And we will prove it live in Scalar OpenAI document on the same API we built last episode. The answer surprised me. Let's go. Let's start with cost. The GPT-4o pricing is identical. Same model, same price on the both platforms. So the decision is not about model cost, it's about everything else. About 10,700 rupees per month for a busy chatbot on either platform. So what do you actually choose based on? Let me show you. Here is the things nobody talk about. If you are building for Indian enterprise clients like bank, hospital and insurance company, they will ask where their data goes. And Azure answer, it stay in your regions. We don't train on it. Here are the compliance certification. That conversation is much harder with the direct OpenAI. Now let's make this real in our web API. We already have Azure OpenAI client registered from episode 1. We just add the direct OpenAI SDK and register that client too. So this is the official .NET OpenAI SDK. And once this SDK is installed, what we are going to do is we will open the app setting.json and add key and model details there. So here we simply copy paste and make this object name as an OpenAI. For now, I simply copy the API key from here itself. Later, I'll quickly show you how to create this OpenAPI key and deploy the models. Now, let's move to the program.cs file, and in the program.cs, below the existing Azure OpenAI client registrations, we add one more singleton. Our dependency injection container now holds both the clients and will inject whichever one our controller asks for. Now, the beautiful part is we don't build a new controller. We update the one we already have. One query parameter switch the entire backend. First, inject both the clients in the constructor. .NET has them both in automatically through dependency injections. Then add a provider's query parameter to the post method. It's default to Azure, so the existing behavior is unchanged. This is how we update the constructor to take the both Azure OpenAI clients and OpenAI client via dependency injections. Now in the method changes, we will simply add one more parameter, which is form query string provider, and set it to default Azure. So whenever we hit the methods, it considers the default provider as an Azure. Here what we are going to do is we simply comment out this chart client because it takes only Azure OpenAI and replace it with this two lines. Here the switch expression picks the right chat clients in two lines. That's the entire factory. Based on the input parameters in the query param, it decided, do we really need to call OpenAI or Azure OpenAI? Let's test it. Press the F5 and we will open the scalar. Now here look at our chat endpoints from the episode 1, which is unchanged the route and unchanged the response shape also. The same endpoints, but now new providers has been added. Here in the query parameters, now we can pass the input parameter as Azure or OpenAI, and in the request body we can ask any questions. Now if we look at this particular code, here we set the default parameter and Azure. That's why it's showing Azure here. But now our API endpoints can talk to two different AI providers from one endpoint with zero duplicates code. If you don't configure a valid OpenAPI key and try to call the API, the request will fail with an error. Always verify your API key before making the request and handle the authentication error gracefully to provide the better user experience. Let me quickly show you how to configure the OpenAPI key using this particular URL. We will simply go there and create the OpenAPI key and replace it in the app setting.json. So let's jump in. Head over to platform.openai.com and logged in with your Gmail account. Once you are logged in successfully using Gmail account, you can see left side we have API key tabs. You simply click it and then click create new secret key. Here give it a name like dotnet API and click on create secret key. Once this is done, you simply copy the API key and replace it in your app setting.json. This is how you configure the OpenAPI key using this platform. Now let's test it. Press the F5, run the applications and open Scalar documentations. Once Scalar API documentation is open, you will see the endpoints here. You simply click on test and provide the input parameters. Here I'll simply replace Azure with OpenAI. And then in the request body, I'll ask question, what is .NET Core? And hit the send button. Here we receive one more exception, that is something related to plans and billing details. This error usually appears when your OpenAI account has no available credits, your billing isn't set up, or you have used your monthly quota. Even if your API key is correct, the API won't process the request until your account has an active balance. To fix it, log into your OpenAPI accounts and check your billing and usage page. Add credits or update your payment method if needed, and then try request again. Once your account has available quota, the error should be disappear and your API calls will work as expected. So this is how we simply add $10, set up a payment method using credit card and click on continue. And once this is done, you can try again with this OpenAPI endpoints. And this error will disappear. For now, I have changed it to Azure and click on send button. If you look into this, we got one more exception, that is method not found. And I'll tell you how to fix it and why this error is coming. Usually, this is happen when two SDK are installed with different and incompatible versions and causing dependency conflict. The fix is simple. Make sure both the packages are using compatible or the same version, and then clear your project cache. Restore or reinstall the same packages and rebuild your application. After that, run your project again. In the most cases, the method not found error disappears because all the dependencies are now aligned correctly. So this is how we install the same package version for the Azure OpenAI and OpenAI SDK. And once that is done, we simply clear the cache and rerun the solution again. So in the CS prod file, if you look into this, we have a same package version which is 2.1.0, and this is how you clear the cache and run the application again and hit the endpoints. Now let me quickly run the applications and hit the chart endpoints just to verify both the chart clients will give you a quick response. This is how the Scalar API documentation is open. Now here we'll ask any of the questions, select the respective providers and click on send. Now our API is talking to two different AI providers from single endpoints with zero duplication code. So here I have asked what is .NET Core and select the provider as an Azure and click on send button, and in the few seconds we will get a response from the GPT-4o models. So when should you use OpenAI and when should you use Azure OpenAI? And my rule is simple: if you are building a solution for a client, go with Azure OpenAI. The enterprise security, compliance and certification can save you a lot of time during approval and audits. But if you are building your own projects, prototype or SaaS, OpenAI is usually the better choice. It's easier to set up, you get the access to the latest model as soon as they release, and there is no Azure subscription overhead. And the best part is the code is so similar that switching between the two usual takes just a few minutes. Start building quickly with OpenAI, and when it's time to meet enterprise or client requirement, move to the Azure OpenAI with minimal changes. Thanks for the watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.